Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying something bold. Not everyone wants to be a billionaire, but if you're here, it's because you do, and more importantly, you want to do it fast. Not in 10, not in 20 you're asking, can I become a billionaire in 2 years? My answer is yes. But only if you're ready to trade comfort for commitment, distractions for discipline, and excuses for execution. The first shift is your relationship with time. Every billionaire I've met thinks in decades, but executes by the hour. They're ruthless with their calendars and generous with their output. What do I mean by that? I mean they wake up knowing their net worth is a reflection of their daily systems, not their dreams. You don't scale from 6 to 9 figures by hoping. You scale by solving problems faster than anyone else. Now, if you think becoming a billionaire means owning a private jet, forget it. That's the result. Becoming a billionaire means becoming the kind of leader who builds something so valuable, so necessary, that the world can't function without it. It means knowing your numbers down to the cent. It means turning people into power. Because billionaires don't just build companies, they build cultures. You will need to learn to say no 100 times a day, no to distractions, no to comfort, no to average thinkers who whisper, be realistic. Billionaires aren't realistic, they're relentless. They're not waiting for conditions to be perfect. They're making moves before the market even knows what's coming. If you want to join them, start acting like the future version of yourself now. Here's the truth: in 2 years, you're either sitting on generational wealth or scrolling through someone else's success story. Your choice. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be obsessed. Obsessed with your time. Obsessed with your vision, obsessed with building leaders under you, not just employees beside you. That's how you compound speed, talent, and profit. So to everyone listening, yes, it's possible. Yes, it's hard. And yes, it's worth it. The clock's already ticking. Are you showing up like a future billionaire, or just pretending? ChatGPT said, time is your most valuable currency. Spend it like a billionaire. When we hear the word currency, we immediately think of money, but billionaires don't see it that way. The wealthiest people on this planet understand that time is the only resource that cannot be earned back, duplicated, or saved. It's constantly being spent, whether you're aware of it or not. And what separates the ultra wealthy from the average is how intentionally they spend every single second of their day. Most people waste time trying to save money. Billionaires do the opposite. They spend money to buy back time. They delegate, they automate, and they prioritize only what moves the needle. If the activity doesn't create leverage or long-term impact, it doesn't deserve their attention. When you watch how billionaires operate, you'll notice they aren't doing more. They're doing less, but what they do is sharper, more strategic, and highly aligned with their ultimate goal. Every call, every meeting, every investment is filtered through one question: does this take me closer to the outcome I want? If the answer is no, it's gone. That kind of clarity is powerful, and it's available to anyone, not just the wealthy. You just have to be willing to ruthlessly edit your calendar and stop glorifying busyness. Busy doesn't make you rich. Aligned action does. Here's what most people miss. Time has a compounding effect when invested correctly. If you spend an hour developing systems today, that same hour will give you back hundreds over the next year. But if you spend it micromanaging, double-checking, or playing in the weeds, that hour is gone forever. You can't afford that if your goal is to become a billionaire in 2 years. You need to build things that work when you're not working. And to do that, you need to be extremely intentional with how your time is allocated. It's not about working harder, it's about choosing the right hard things to work on. Most people say they don't have enough time. That's a lie. What they really mean is they're not managing it with enough focus and intention. Everyone has 24 hours, but billionaires protect theirs like gold. They don't take unplanned meetings, they don't scroll mindlessly, they don't hang out in environments that don't elevate their thinking. That's not elitism, it's strategy. It's what allows them to operate with insane clarity and make billion-dollar decisions in minutes while others spend weeks debating the small stuff. So if you want to reach that level, start now. Audit your day. Ask yourself what you're tolerating that's eating your time without giving you a return. Are you managing your minutes the way you want your money to be managed? Smart, efficient, and intentional. Because how you treat your time is a direct reflection of how you'll handle wealth. And if you're sloppy with your schedule, you'll be sloppy with success. The goal isn't just to get rich, it's to become the kind of person whose time is so valuable, the world pays for every second of it. You don't need $1 million idea, you need $1 million execution. This is one of the most misunderstood truths in entrepreneurship and business. People spend years trying to come up with the perfect idea, thinking that success is locked inside some hidden genius concept that no one's ever thought of. But the truth is, ideas are cheap. Everyone has them. What separates the person who talks about success from the person who achieves it is not the idea, it's the action. The idea is the spark, but execution is the fire. And if your fire burns long enough and hot enough, it will catch everything around it. Billionaires don't sit around brainstorming all day. They test, build, break, improve, and move fast. They know the market rewards momentum, not perfection. A decent idea backed by relentless execution will outperform a brilliant idea trapped inside a notebook every time. When you commit to execution, you stop waiting for the perfect plan. You start making things real. You stop asking for permission. You stop fearing rejection. You understand that feedback is a gift even when it stings, because every step forward, even if it's messy, teaches you more than months of planning ever could. Execution isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things over and over again, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when no one is clapping yet. It's about consistency. It's about discipline. It's about getting clear on what you want and reverse engineering your day until your actions reflect that vision. People don't fail because their ideas weren't good enough. They fail because they didn't stay in the game long enough to see the results. They quit too soon. They got tired, distracted, impatient. But billionaires, they keep going, they keep refining, they keep solving. Great execution means turning strategy into systems and systems into scale. It means not being the smartest person in every room, but knowing how to hire the smartest people and lead them with clarity. It means turning setbacks into feedback and feedback into acceleration. If you want to be the best, you can't just think, you have to do. You have to build, you have to create results that people can see, feel, and trust. That's what creates momentum. That's what builds legacy. And that's what gets you into the rooms where real wealth is built. Stop waiting for the lightning strike. It's already inside you. What you need now is to start, to commit, and to refuse to let up. If you work on your execution with as much intensity as others chase ideas, you'll rise faster, build stronger, and outlast the competition. Because at the end of the day, it's not who had the best idea, it's who built the best business around it, and that comes down to execution. Every single time. People build wealth, so build the right team, not just a brand. Behind every billionaire is not just a strong idea or a powerful company, but an elite team that executes with precision, energy, and shared vision. It's a dangerous myth to believe that success is a solo act. The truth is, if you want to build something that lasts, that scales, and that earns beyond what one person can do alone, you need people who are not just talented, but aligned. A strong brand may get attention, but a strong team builds empires. The kind of wealth that multiplies requires people who think like owners, not just employees clocking in and out. It's not about hiring more hands, it's about surrounding yourself with minds that can see what you see, even before it's real. When you look at any high growth company, it's not the product that's magical, it's the culture, it's the communication, it's the leadership. Billionaires are obsessed with people. They know that every hire either speeds up the vision or slows it down. That's why they're constantly evaluating talent, not just for skills, but for attitude, values, and long-term alignment. They build teams that challenge each other, that move with urgency, and that own their results. The people you bring in today will either create opportunities or future problems, and there is no middle ground. If you want to grow fast, grow smart, and grow sustainably, you need to treat recruitment like revenue. It's that important. Here's the mistake most entrepreneurs make: they hire to fill gaps instead of hiring to expand capacity. They look at their calendar and say, "I'm too busy, I need help." But billionaires hire before they need to. They hire ahead of the curve, they invest in leadership, they build layers, not just helpers, and they don't just delegate tasks, they delegate outcomes. They trust, they train, and they lead with clarity. That's how you build a team that thinks independently and delivers consistently. It's not about micromanaging, it's about creating a system where excellence becomes the standard, not the exception. If you're serious about becoming a billionaire in 2 years, you cannot do it alone. Not even close. You need people who move like you, who think faster, and who want the win as much as you do. That starts by casting a vision so bold that it attracts high performers. People don't follow vague goals. They follow purpose, leadership, and momentum. When your team believes in the mission and sees how they grow inside of it, they become unstoppable. And when you build that kind of energy into your business, wealth becomes inevitable. So stop focusing only on what you're building. Start focusing on who you're building it with, because people, not logos, not slogans, not even products, are what truly scale wealth. $1 billion business is nothing more than a collection of high-impact people moving toward a common target with unshakable commitment. Build your team like your fortune depends on it, because it does. Every billionaire controls more than one system, not just a product. Building wealth at a massive scale doesn't come from a single source of income or a best-selling product. It comes from building and mastering systems that work together, multiply momentum, and generate returns whether you're in the room or not. Systems create freedom, leverage, and power. Products get attention. Systems build empires. That's the shift. If you want to scale to billions, you have to stop thinking in terms of isolated wins and start thinking in terms of interconnected engines that feed one another and grow exponentially. A product, no matter how great, can be copied. It can lose relevance. It can hit market saturation. But a system, a repeatable, predictable, automated process for generating revenue, building audiences, or developing leaders, becomes a fortress. Billionaires don't bet their futures on a product going viral. They build supply chains, operations workflows, marketing engines, referral networks, acquisition funnels, client success frameworks, and capital systems. They build businesses within businesses. They focus on how every moving part supports long-term, scalable growth, not just today's revenue spike. Look at any forming billionaire today, and you'll see not just innovation, but infrastructure. The world may admire their newest offering, but behind the scenes are systems operating on clockwork. Sales are generated through a process. People are hired through a process. Customer experiences are mapped, tracked, and improved through a process. That's how you scale fast without chaos. You can't become a billionaire through hustle alone. You become a billionaire by designing a business that doesn't collapse when you're not hustling. It's not just about automation either, it's about intelligence. Smart systems can scale humans. They reduce mistakes. They make it easier to make good decisions faster. They give you data, clarity, and visibility on what's really working and what's silently costing you. They allow you to remove emotion from decision making and focus on performance. And as you grow, systems allow you to bring in more people without diluting the quality, because systems hold the standard when the founder is no longer the center of gravity. Building multiple systems isn't about complexity, it's about structure. You don't need a complicated organization. You need a simplified, effective one. Every system should do one thing: support your mission. And each one should be able to run without you pulling the strings constantly. That's how you shift from being a business owner to being a wealth architect. Billionaires don't just build businesses, they build ecosystems. So if your goal is to reach $1 billion level, stop asking what your next product should be. Ask what system you need next, build the machine, make sure every piece connects, and then refine it, grow it, scale it. Because when the right systems are in place, wealth becomes a natural outcome, not a lucky break. You're not 2 years away from a billion, you're one mindset away. The biggest barrier to building massive wealth isn't the market, the economy, or even your resources. It's how you think. Your beliefs shape your behaviors, and your behaviors determine your results. People who reach billionaire status don't start by doing billionaire things, they start by thinking like billionaires. They see opportunities where others see risks. They move with conviction while others hesitate. They operate from abundance, not fear. The difference between someone stuck at 6 figures and someone scaling toward 9 isn't just strategy, it's identity. It's who they believe they are and what they believe is possible. When you shift your mindset to match the level of wealth you're aiming for, everything changes. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop settling for comfort. You start making decisions from the perspective of your future self, not your current limitations. Most people want to grow, but they think small. They wait for permission. They listen to people who have never built anything. Billionaires do the opposite. They protect their mental space. They only take advice from winners. They audit their circle constantly. Because your environment either supports your growth or suffocates it, and billionaires refuse to stay in rooms that don't stretch them. A billionaire mindset is rooted in extreme ownership. There's no blame, no victimhood, no waiting for someone else to solve the problem. It's all on you, and that's empowering, not overwhelming. When you understand that your results are a reflection of your thinking, you take responsibility differently, you get intentional, you stop reacting and start designing. You look at challenges as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. That's the mindset that builds momentum. That's the mindset that attracts talent, investment, and innovation. You also begin to embrace speed. A billionaire mind that doesn't wait for the stars to align. It makes decisions fast, learns from mistakes, and adapts quickly. There's no obsession with being right, just a commitment to progress. When you think like a billionaire, failure isn't personal, and it's never final. It's simply feedback. You use it, grow from it, and move forward faster than everyone else. That's why they win, not because they never lose, but because they never let losing slow them down. To build a $1 billion outcome in 2 years, you have to elevate your thoughts to match that level of vision. You have to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a strategist, like a leader, like someone who isn't chasing success but creating it, deliberately and unapologetically. The moment you adopt that mindset is the moment everything else starts aligning: your habits, your decisions, your circle, and your results. The distance between you and a billion isn't measured in time, it's measured in perspective. And once that shifts, the money follows, because mindset isn't just part of the journey to wealth, it is the foundation of it.